Well, good morning, Heidi, and that furry guy who's taking the place of Dave in there. Sexy D. All right. That's what I'll call you. Well, this is a really powerful message out here that they're trying to reach out to kids and encourage them to choose a different life. And I have Thomas Harris, the host of the show. And Thomas, it sounds like you're very lucky to be alive.
Yes, I am. Growing up in Los Angeles, South Central LA, I've been through a lot. Pretty much at the age of 14, really wasn't supposed to be alive though, but I survived the streets and also moved to Vegas. And from there, a lot of things went on too, and I'm still blessed to be alive. So I formed a show called the Mack Story Morning Show, where I'm gonna reach out and touch some of these kids out here. I got a lot of kids that's trying to join gangs, and what I like to do is pretty much try to save their lives today. And also what I want to do is I invited all the ex-gang members from North Las Vegas to join me on my show today towards helping figure out what can we do to help save these kids from dying.
And what kind of stories do they have?
Well, the kids, they kind of lost. I feel that they needed just a little love. No one is showing any attention towards the things that they are going through, even in the house or or just on the streets. They're being ignored, and then what I wanted to do is just reach out and let them know that someone cares. I'd like to be one of the voices in the community towards help save the kids.
Sounds like it's going to be a great show. It's at 9 o'clock this morning here on Power 88.1, 9 to 9:30, so definitely tune in. Heidi and Dave, Sexy D. Yes, that's it. Exactly, yes. Yes, he does. He's coming in here later today. How they can too. I'm Lauren Murphy. I'll have this story ahead. Good morning, guys. These guys have a just powerful story, and they really want kids in Las Vegas to hear it. And joining me now is the host of the show, Thomas Harris. And Thomas, tell me what you're trying to achieve this morning.
Well, today I'm just trying to achieve to kind of get out there and just let the kids know that someone cares about them. And at the same time, back in '89, where I used to have a shop in North Las Vegas, and 80% of all my customers was gang members, Crips and Bloods. So a dedication on the show today, I would like to just reach out and just let them know that I will plan a dedication to all my fallen soldiers that lost their life during gang violence. So we just want to reach out and teach the kids something.
And there's a lot of kids, they've heard this message before in school. Everybody tells them, don't join a gang, but it doesn't seem to have worked so far.
Yes, it's kind of hard for kids to try to listen, especially to someone that haven't been there or lived that life. I've been there since the age of 14, around kids, around gangs, and I almost lost my life though. It's pretty much, if you watch the documentary of the T-Max story, it'll tell you that I'm really not supposed to be here, but I'm blessed to tell this story and make a documentary.
And also joining me is one of the guests on the show this morning, Dan Loke, now a former gang member, so you were no Boy Scout.
No, I wasn't a Boy Scout at all.
And what do you wish somebody had told you when you were young?
Well, I wish that, more like adults back when I was younger would have stood up and like been able to, sit me down and talk to me, you know what I'm saying, and make some sense out of what my life was going through. And I feel like I could have made a different turn with different, obstacles, or...
All right, and you've done that now, though, and the documentary is the T-Mac story, and we were just showing you that video, but if you want to listen to the radio show, it's from 9 to 9:30 on 88.1. Back to you guys in the studio. That's right, guys. These guys have some really powerful stories to share with young people, and they're doing that on the radio. And joining me now is DJ Thump himself. And DJ, you've never You were never in a gang per se, but you've been around it all your life.
Absolutely. I grew up in that environment, and a lot of times you're a product of that environment. Association brings affiliation. And I was actually shot 8 times by a 17-year-old young man that was trying to get initiated into a gang. So I too had to face adversity growing up in the hood, and, moving out to Vegas, making a better life for myself. Look at me now, doing things on the radio, but most importantly, it's about the kids. It's about helping them to be better people, giving them an out.
And so many people would harbor a little hate towards gang members. If they've been in your shoes, what keeps you from feeling that way?
The strong sense of God. I have a strong spirit of God within me, and to have that, I'm able to forgive. And yes, I won't forget. I still have the pain, I still have the nightmares and things of that nature. But you learn to forgive. And if I can reach out and touch another young child and show them what I've been through, and that you can learn a lot from a fool. You really can. But a wise man learns from other fools' mistakes.
Right. And there's another guest on the show, former gang member, Cartel, the wise man poet. And tell me your lowest moment. What made you change your life?
Well, actually, what made me change my life is growing up in South Central Los Angeles with Thomas Harris, my best friend from high school. Pretty much, we've seen a lot of violence, growing up in the early 80s, growing up, and I just said that I pretty much didn't want to, go out like that, I just want to do something positive, so, God put in my heart, to give back spoken word, so I do poetry.
All right, and he'll be doing that on the show here at 9 o'clock this morning. It goes 9 to 9:30, the T-Mack story right here on FM Power 88.1. Jason and Heidi, back to you. 8 times. Yeah, he got shot 8 times. His fiance was killed, and
yes.
You still keep in touch with her little boy, right?
Yes, and he's actually an honor roll A student, and I actually was able to mentor and show him that, just because that happened to your mom, life still goes on, and with your testimony and your story, you'll be able to help somebody else. So definitely, yeah.
Yeah, he's a powerful story too, and has a lot to share. Oh, it's very interesting and enlightening morning. These guys have a powerful message over here, and joining me now is Thomas Harris, the host of the T-Mack show. And Thomas, you have a wardrobe change to tell us about.
Yes, right now I'm wearing all white to stand for peace in the community, and with respect from the Bloods, I'm asking them to let me honor their fallen soldiers as well as the Crips. As well as they fallen soldiers from back in the days and stuff. So join me on the T-Mack third morning show at 9 o'clock, and I'm going to offer service to the young kids out there to change from negative to positive. So, but you're going to have to listen to the show at 9 o'clock to see what I have to offer.
Okay, and Thomas, a lot of people are lacking a little sympathy for these kids that carry guns and sell drugs and shoot at each other. What do you want to tell people that just don't really want to support them?
Well, all my life dealing with and being around gangs, if I was to have one person in front of you right now, you wouldn't even know that he's a bad person. And what I'm asking is they just need a little help from the community. And I'm just going to step up and show the community how to do it, because all my life I was that person as well.
Okay, and now you're a successful business owner.
Oh yes, I changed from negative to positive. What happened was in my life changed when I was doing so much bad in the world that my mom lived in California and I was out here in Vegas doing bad things in the streets. And what happened was she had a nightmare of a dream that she seen me in a casket. So that was the wake-up call.
Absolutely.
And I had to go back to being a hard-working person like I was now.
All right, well, the show's at 9 o'clock right here on FM Power 88.1. Jason and Heidi, back to you. Yeah, they have some really scary stories, but they all have some teachable moments as well. And joining me now is Dan Loke, a former gang member. And Dan, tell me, what are you trying to impress upon kids this morning?
Well, what I'm trying to impress upon kids is, to listen, to get the word across to them about, growing up in a place and a situation and being able to deal with it without violence, and by having, being a gang member and going out into the community and stuff, and really letting them know that it is a positive way to change.
There is an alternative,
Yeah,
right?
there's an alternative.
Now, also joining me is Kevin Lay, who is also in a gang, and you've seen it all, done it all, right?
Done it all. There's no cap on it. Yeah, I'm from West Las Vegas in the Madison Terrace era. And the message that I try to give is that, you know, we all have some kind of influence. We misled a lot of kids when we were coming up in it, and they kind of idolized us. So what we do now is we try to give back in a different way. We show them that you can go out there and get a job despite whatever odds. And I've kind of raised the bar and challenged men who have used the all-time excuse of I have a conviction and whatnot. Well, I have the ultimate conviction.
And you've spent 11 years in prison. Is that not enough to scare kids away?
Sometimes it isn't, because we all live in this state of ignorance, not knowing what a consequence is until you actually have it. And 11 years should be enough. But prior to the 11 years, there's always a law that says if you do this, you'll do that, and it still isn't enough. So we go back in the communities and let kids know you have an opportunity, you have a chance.
And they'll be telling this story right here at 9 o'clock on Power 88.1, so everybody tune in. Back to you guys in the studio. Former gang members are taking their message to the airways. I'm Lauren Murphy. I'll take you to the Mack show coming up in a live report. They have such powerful stories out here, and they really want to impress upon kids that there is another path to take, and they have such amazing personal stories. Kevin here was in prison for 11 years. DJ Thumper, you were shot 8 times.
Yeah.
And he was the victim of gang violence. But joining me now is Thomas Harris, the host of the show. And what are you trying to achieve here this morning?
Well, I'm trying to just show the world, show the community that we can bring Crips and Bloods together as one and put on white and save the kids.
Do you think this will ever end?
You know, violence, you know, it will slow it down, but we want to try to see if we can just put a stop to the killing this summer, because it gets hot. You know, people, you say one little wrong word to someone and people get very tense. So we want to share the light with the gangbangers, as ex-gangbangers today, to share the light in saving the kids today.
All right, and also joining me is Kevin Lay. And Kevin, how old were you when you first picked up a gun?
Around 13 years old.
13. What would you say to 13-year-old you?
Well, you never want to experience that at that young of age. However, like I said earlier, we come up in environments where you feel you have to. And I would say to any 13-year-old, the message I have is to stay in school and use your other options. And try to have a positive attitude so that you don't have to go and grab a gun.
All right, and the show is at 9 o'clock right here. 88.3 or 0.1, Power 88.1, and the video we've been showing you is from Mack's documentary, and all that information's on our website, fox5vegas.com.